All right. Welcome, everyone, to that Disruptive Keto Stuff. This is episode 1. And my name is Brian James, and I am here with co-founder, athlete, Keto OS expert, none other than man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Rob DeBoer. And we're just going to basically do a couple very simple things. We're going to take 20 minutes, the next 20 minutes exactly. That Disruptive Keto Stuff. This is episode 1. And my name is Brian James, and I am here with co-founder, athlete, Keto OS expert, and those the man, myth, legend, Mr. Rob DeBoer. And all right, Rob, that works. So now we know that. Now here's what's great. Here's why I love this, because this thing's real. This is not scripted. Actually, this is a funny story. And before I say that, before I was rudely interrupted by our YouTube recording, I want to say that Rob was literally texting me. I can show you his text messages. He was trying to get me to give him a whole script so he could answer questions. Redone. But we weren't going to allow that to happen. Why? Because I wanted this to be raw. I wanted it to be real. I wanted you to know that we screw up, but it's all good. Why? Because we're going to take now the next 18 minutes, and we're going to talk about, number one, the results that you can have when taking Keto OS or the Keto line of products. And number two, the types of rewards that you can experience when you help enough people get those results. So, Rob, I want to turn this over and just kind of start asking you some questions. The first is, as a co-founder of Pruvit, actually the whole name and the thought process for that name came from you. How'd that happen?
It's interesting you asked. So about 3 years ago, I came up with the idea, hey, I want to start an apparel line. And I'm one of those entrepreneurs, and came up with the cool name Pruvit, PR, the Uber U, VIT. And, it was all about, proving it. You want to be a marathon runner, prove it. You want to, lose weight, prove it. Be a better dad, prove it. And one of my dear friends, I was at his house, spending some time with him, and I had made this shirt and it said prove it. Actually, the tagline was apparel to power you. And he just liked it. He asked me what it stood for. I shared it with him. Everybody's got more in them, and the name kind of stuck, and that was 3 years ago. Well, that's what's interesting about how this story comes together. Most people think the name is tied to, because we have a product that you can literally prove, 1 serving, 1 hour, 100% of the time, but that's not the case. So just excited about it. Helped with the Better campaign. That's kind of our theme behind the company, is who doesn't want to be better, whether it's an athlete, a parent. A bank robber probably wants to be better. So that's where the name came from. That's kind of where the messaging came from. And now we've got a product that will help anyone be better, and we can prove it.
Now, that's key, because the reason being is because you were already thinking before we came onto a product that was scientifically and clinically proven, which we could prove. You already had the thought process of having something that's real, something that you can actually prove. And I think that you and I can both agree, in an industry that is so watered down, that is so, man, I don't even know the dirty words I could use right now for it, but the health and wellness industry has obviously not, it's got a lot of products and a lot of insights and diets and things that are authentic, and it's got some that aren't so much. But what's cool, I think, is that you already had the thought process that you wanted something that was real, something that was proven. And how did it come about? Maybe just a real quick, how did this come about that you were able to match up your vision for what Pruvit stood for and this product that we have today with therapeutic exogenous ketones?
Well, the CEO and, one of the founders of the company, Brian Underwood, we wanted to be in business together. We wanted to do a nutritional, and there just wasn't anything out there. And, things happen, right place, right time, call it a God thing, that this product matched up with the name. My big thing, especially with a training background for fitness people, there's one word that you live and die on, and that's credibility. And a lot of times, as you're mentioning, in the nutritional supplement industry, what is the motive with somebody selling you something or telling you about something, especially in the industry that we're in? And as a result, it just made sense. I mean, I left a great job in endoscopy sales. I was in sports endoscopy. I was in the operating room every morning with the surgeons, but this has no ceiling as of right now, and it's something new. I don't know of anybody that doesn't want to be on the front end of something very credible, well-founded. I mean, literally a century of research, and we're bringing to market the first consumer product that's, as silly as it sounds, never been available to human, to people ever until probably 6, 7, 8 months ago. And Brian, you were there. I mean, it was a process. The first taste of the product was, we probably couldn't ever sell it. And, the evolution.
It was donkey.
Yeah, it was not good. So we're excited where we're at. We've been, we've fought some of the fights already, trying to get the product to the market, get the taste right. And I think the response has been overwhelming, frankly, because it's a great product and it's a new conversation.
So I got to ask you, your thought process. Let's break down, so layman's terms, very simply, help someone understand endogenous versus exogenous ketones and the benefit that you get from one or the other. Because very transparently, when you and I started on this journey, the only exposure before we actually had the product, and as we talked about, product was few and far between, and the product that we did get tasted just like vomit. It's like throwing back up in your mouth, and that was probably a pretty accurate taste. So all of that I had been exposed to, all I had known up until this point, and I've been in the health and fitness industry for over a decade now, and all I know is all that I've been taught. And what I've been taught was one way to get an aesthetic look, one way to get healthy from the inside out, or what I perceived to be healthy from the inside out. And it was my first exposure to the word keto, the word ketones, the word ketogenic, first exposure I've ever had to that. And so for me, I started experimenting with the ketogenic diet. And I'll tell you things for me. Well, first off, I will tell you, I had such a block. Like, I had this shield up, like how in everything I'd been taught that you need carbs as fuel, that you need glucose, that you got to get your insulin levels where you need them to be for optimal performance, and all this stuff. And I said, my God, the worst thing that you could do is put fat into your body, and all these different things. And oh my God, you just go out there and you Google it, and you can see that it's very much against traditional thought process and what I know I'd personally been taught. But I will tell you that experimenting with more of a ketogenic consciousness, I could absolutely feel the benefits of ketones and ketosis once I understood what it meant. So just if you go back to that question that I asked like 3 minutes ago, which was the difference between endogenous, exogenous, and you know the deal.
Yeah, so my history with it is a bit different. I had understood it because of my fitness background, but about 3.5, 4 years ago, my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I thought, how in the world can I help him? So I just started researching, and I kept running across ketones, ketogenic diet, ketosis, and studied it for 3 years. And what people don't realize is ketones, it's a fuel source, just like glucose is. So there's two fuel sources for your body, glucose and ketones. One is actually a cleaner fuel source, ketones being that, because it doesn't require an insulin response to basically feed your cells. So what's happened with our product in the consumer market for the first time ever is ketones and glucose can now coexist in the human body. That's never been available in the last, prior to 6, 7 months ago. And here's why. As you mentioned, ketones, the only way to produce them was endogenously, endogenously, which is inside your body. And you did that through either starvation or, like you said, a ketogenic diet. Very difficult. Remove carbs, sugar from your diet over the course of several days. Your body is then forced to find a fuel source, and it takes body fat and through beta oxidation in the liver turns that into this fuel source called ketones. So unless glucose was absent from the body, you couldn't experience, you couldn't think, you couldn't perform, you couldn't you couldn't experience ketones without going through a ketogenic diet or a starvation diet. Now we introduce an exogenous product. So exogenous ketones, which is a supplement we can now put into your body. And if you think of it this way, you know, it's a fourth macronutrient. That's what it acts like. You know, we got protein, carb, fat, and now we've got ketones. And the reason that's so important is because ketones are a preferred fuel source. You know, it doesn't matter what you eat. If that food doesn't make it to your cells, it doesn't matter how healthy you eat. So with glucose, you require insulin. Type 1 diabetic, their pancreas doesn't make it. Type 2, they become insulin resistant. Type 3, which is Alzheimer's, you know, the brain has become insulin resistant. Well, now we've got this supplement that can fuel the body in a cleaner, better way, without having to go through, you know, the 5, 6, 7 days of very difficult dietary standards to create this fuel source. So now we get the best of both worlds, you know. And again, this is a tool. It's for someone that, like my 78-year-old father, he never would have been able to, you know, adhere to a ketogenic diet had this product been available, you know, 3, 4 years ago. There's no doubt he'd still be here, in my opinion. Can't make medical claims, but I'm basing that off of the white papers, the century of research, you know, the last decade of research on neurodegenerative disease and what role ketones play in that. So,
got it. So let me ask you this next question, Rob, is that, you know, breaking it down, I know there's so many people we talk to about, you know, how this product is disrupting the marketplace, how this conversation is disrupting the marketplace. Sometimes we forget to just kind of talk about our own experience. What has your own experience since, you know, just since that first conversation of, hey, we have this technology, and what was it from that point on for you? What have you experienced in the last year and a half since kind of being introduced to this conversation and obviously this product?
Well, first and foremost, it's challenged everything I've come to believe about losing weight, feeling great, losing body fat, body recomposition. And because I didn't understand ketones unless going through that endogenous process. So as a result, you know, I'm the ultimate skeptic. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. There's no way you can put me into a state of ketosis, elevated ketones in my body within an hour. Sure enough, they proved it to me. Urine test over the course of time, blood test. And so, you know, what I've seen is you don't have to adhere to all the typical methods you've heard in the past. You don't have to eat the 5, 6 small meals a day when you've got something that can help preserve and protect lean muscle. Ketones do that. You don't have to eat, you know, every 3 or 4 hours when your appetite is controlled, because ketones will suppress your appetite. Again, my past says that's a terrible thing. However,
you were like me, you wanted to rip someone's head off after 2.5, 3 hours of no glucose, no carbs.
Without carbs, absolutely, without question. And so, you know, it's challenged everything, but, you know, that's the beauty of this product, this company, is we're very transparent. The idea that you can approach someone and they don't question your motive. In other words, I see it all the time. This challenge is better than this one. This shake's better than this one. And my question would be now, well, how do you prove that to me? When I consume that product, when it goes in my mouth, down my throat, into my stomach, how can you prove your claims that my cells are actually getting what you say? Whether it's a juice, a shake, whatever, how can you prove it's better than what I could get at Costco or Sam's? They can't. That's just an unanswerable question, at least not anytime soon. You know, so I have to spend money for several days, probably several weeks, a month or two, to really see if that product is something that makes a measurable difference. And so when people promote or sell a product, Now, what is your motive, Rob? Is it because your shake really is better, or is it because you're earning a commission, making money off of me? Well, we've eliminated the motive from the equation. Why? Because I'm bringing to you a statement. That is, I can put ketones in your body. I'm allowing you to believe that to be true because I can prove it within an hour with one serving. And I simply place a value on that. So now I say, here's what I bring to the table. Here's what they are. I prove it to you. You go research it. You're going to sell yourself if you're open and honest. And this is the dollar value we place on it. So now it's just up to them. Do you want it or not? And, you're not going to go find another ketone product like this, period. There is no competition. And that's the goal of the company is they want to have, we won't be the only kid on the block, but we will be the first as we are. And our goal is to always be the best, the most powerful, the most pure exogenous ketone product that, you can consume and validate 100% of the time in anybody that tries it.
And that's a good point, because one thing we talked about, I was having this conversation the other day, is that were we the first to have an exogenous ketone on the market with therapeutic ketones? Absolutely. But it doesn't stop there. Anytime somebody's first to market, there's a lot of companies out there that are first to market, but there's been a lot of other companies that it's the companies that don't stop growing and don't stop developing. And the reason I say that is we started off with our Keto OS or COS 1.0 version. And if you can see here, we now have our 2.0 version. Okay, version 2.0, and soon to be our new 3.0 version as we start moving into international expansion and a lot of cool things. So you can see that on each one of our products. We just came out with a new product, Keto Cream. It'll continue to get better. Why? Because the whole company, what we stand by is better, being better, growing. We believe that we do have a great product, but we can better that product through research, through science. Last 4 minutes, Rob, here's what I want to do. And I know this is incredibly unfair, but you've got to give me your top 3 results, your top 3 stories that hit you the hardest when it comes to results from this product throughout your community.
Well, I'll preface it by saying these are not typical results, whatever the whole FDA disclaimer is, or the FTC disclaimer. Sure. I'm not giving you medical advice. I can't promise this will happen, but these are real stories. Number one, there's not a type 2 diabetic on the planet Earth that shouldn't take this product twice a day, every day. Period. End of story. That's a pretty open marketplace which leads to a great opportunity. And here's why. 75-year-old Robert Washington, one of my best friends, Gene, played Dallas Cowboys, big guy. He's got a 75-year-old father that basically gave up on life. Type 2 diabetic, 17 years, multiple times a day, gave himself insulin. And he said, what the heck? Went to his doctor, asked him about it. Doctor said, no, not comfortable with you taking that product. Gene said, Dad, just take it. You've given up already. After 4 days, this is 4 or 5 months ago, he's never taken another insulin shot. 75-year-old man. So if you ask a type 2 diabetic, what does that mean? That's life-changing. So I go back to that. Secondarily, I think everybody's parents and grandparents should take this twice a day, every day. And here's why. We've seen people that have beginning stages of Alzheimer's, dementia, very much like my father. So I know it very well, what to look like, what it looks like, what the symptoms are. How can you tell someone gets better or worse? I read a book called Alzheimer's. What if there's a cure? The story of ketones. And we started giving this to a couple grandparents of great friends. Noticeable change, almost overnight. Problem was they would never do a ketogenic diet, but they'll drink this product. Tastes like a creamsicle, mix it up with ice and water. And then, you know what? Lastly, some of the best stories come from some of the biggest skeptics. And it may be something as small as weight loss, but one that you don't hear about: runners, marathon runners, ultra marathon runners, distance athletes, What if we could delay the bonk? That may not mean many people, but the bonk basically is a runner's term, which is you're hitting the wall. Your brain says you can't do anymore. Your glycogen stores have been depleted. So what if I could give you a fuel that was never available to you, that is going to prolong and delay the bonk? So you're going to run further. You're going to run back. You're going to have oxygen to do it. That's a great testimony. We've got several of them. So whether it's loss, body recomposition, inflammation with people, athletes, and everybody in between, it's very hard to point to just one or two, but those are some highlights.
Now, Rob, you were an athlete.
Allegedly.
Well, you played for University of South Carolina, right?
I played college football and baseball in the early 90s and went on to play pro baseball with the Oakland A's and never made it big time, but got into bodybuilding. Didn't want to do a bunch of steroids, so I got into strongman because you had to be a little more of an athlete. And now I just work out. I don't care if I'm strong, I just want to look strong.
Sure.
So
now I gotta ask you, what the heck's going on with South Carolina's program right now?
We made a great hire with Will Muschamp, but we've probably got a year or two to rebuild. The sad thing is my son is going to walk on, hopefully a preferred walk on at Clemson, which is the nemesis. I mean, if you like Carolina, you hate Clemson. So he's going to go but I'm proud of him, and he takes the product, because I honestly tell people, if you ask your doctor, doc, if I took the sugar out of my diet, would that be okay? It's not a doctor in America that would say, please, that would be great. That's what this product does in your body. So you hear me say, whether it's an infant to the elderly and everyone in between, people will stop a second and say, infant? Well, yeah. Primarily keto. It truly is a universal product that we're just on the front end of what we're knowing and finding out. It's not going away anytime soon.
Got it. Now I got to leave you with this, since we're on the personal side of the house. Obviously, just like anything else out there, if you have a great product and you're providing a value to people, there is reward for for pretty much all in some way, shape, or form. You got Elon Musk. What did he do? He owns a couple different companies. He makes a great car. It's great for the environment. It's great on fuel efficiency. It's great on all these things. He owns another company that provides solar power. He is providing value to people, and in return, he's obviously gaining reward from that, financial reward. And unfortunately, unless you're a sales rep for one of Elon Musk's companies, it's kind of hard to revenue share with those incredible results that he's having with his products. So here with Pruvit, this whole point of this last 21 minutes was to talk about, number one, results, proven results. If we don't get results, then we got nothing to talk about, in my opinion. And the second thing is rewards, because when you get enough rewards as a byproduct, you have the ability to be rewarded. If you get enough results, you have the ability to be rewarded. What has it been so far? What have you experienced? And maybe one or two of the people in your community that you're working with personally, what are some of the rewards that you have personally experienced since helping people get results from this product?
Well, look, I don't shy away from the fact that there's a stigma with multi-level marketing, whatever. And we all know people that have tried 3, 4, 5 different companies. And when you see them coming, I'm just the guy that'll listen, because I know it's hard to approach people. Those people that have never had success are doing extremely well with our company. And it's all because the product. Clearly, it's not because of them. I've got people that always would say no to network marketing that have grown at an exponential rate. Love our tech, never done network marketing, hate it. But because of the product, she now has, I don't know, 1,400 people that she helps on a monthly basis because she told people who told people and took on a life of so we've got several people that have earned car bonuses. I mean, the bottom line is
now I know you said personally you have actually transitioned to where you help people more on a full-time basis now through Pruvit, correct?
I left an incredible job with a big company, gas card, corporate credit card. No, didn't have a overseer boss, made great money, and I loved it. But I walked away to be an independent distributor. No insurance, no benefits, all because of what the first 2 months created for me and where I saw this going. So I'll replace that income in another 30, 60, 90 days. But it won't stop there. My other job so I'll tell you the best story though, Brian. One of the people I sponsored has never made less than $10,000 the first month they. It's not typical. They're very hard. But there are months where they earn more income than I have. And I love that because you get paid for what you do initially, and ultimately you get paid for what you start. These people now can walk away for a week or two on vacation, and that income still comes in. Versus someone like me, if I walk away for a week or two, my vacation time's used up, and that's the end of the story the rest of the year. So it's just a great opportunity to look at seriously for people that have always said no, or people that have never had success once they've tried and failed with other companies.
Beautiful. Well, I appreciate you big time for taking some time out and jumping on here and sharing tonight. Where are you at right now? You're in South Carolina, right?
Columbia, South Carolina. It's about 80. I hate it because
80. It's 80 degrees right now.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm 4 hours behind you in Anchorage, Alaska, Eagle River, Alaska, to be more specific. And we're having a heat wave here today, dude. A heat wave. You hear me? Heat wave. It is 42 degrees today.
Wow.
But I
watched the Alaskan Frontier on like the Discovery Channel. I do not envy.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it's a whole different planet, and it's exciting. And I'll actually post a couple things because, the rewards are real. I was able to pick up the Disruptor, as I call it, a nice new, looks like a Terminator G. It's been called a lot of different things so far, but I needed something for the Alaska wilderness, and my wife and I have been able to do some pretty cool things, and it all comes from obviously helping people with what we do. So from South Carolina, from Alaska, I just want to let you guys know, everyone, apologize for messing up the first couple minutes of this thing. But, hey, we need you to know that we're real. We need you to know that Pruvit's real. We need you to know that the product's real. We need you to know that the results are real. And we need you to know that the rewards are real. And we're just real people. So with that, as you start to share this, I'd encourage you to make sure you reach out to, make an actual connection with the person that shared this with you, and get back with them. Have a conversation. Have them get you some samples. Have them get you some research and rewards and some of those things that you need as you're starting to check out this platform and this technology and what we're doing here with Pruvit. If you just have randomly stumbled upon this, I encourage you to go and connect with me personally at theketoman.com. or jump in our Facebook group at ketomovement.com. You can obviously reach out to Rob as well if you're somebody that stumbled on this because you're one of Rob's groupies. So the people that follow around Rob from place to place. So with that, we're done. And one more time, I want to thank you, Rob. We'll be back on again on Monday night, next Monday. And we will have a brand new guest from a whole different background and a whole different list of experiences from the result side and the reward side. So with that, peace out. Thank you, Rob, and have a great night. And everyone else, peace out.
Thanks, buddy.
See you soon. Thanks, man.